Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the virtual class. This is your revision session, Class 8, Chapter 1, Resources. In this chapter, we are going to read about resources, its value, types, human-made resources, and how to conserve them. So, let's start with this topic, resources. What are these? Resources refers to all material available to us in our environment which help us to satisfy our daily need. Example, we use water for drinking, cooking, bathing, etc. Since water satisfied most of our needs, hence water is an example of resource. Now I will explain you what is the economic value of resource. I will make you understand this economic value of resources in a very easy term. For example, your mother makes many delicious dishes for you. She knows recipes of maybe about 100 dishes. Her knowledge of recipes does not have an economic value, but it is a resource for her and for you as well. Now, let us assume your mother decides to write a recipe of book and book becomes a bestseller, means it becomes very famous. Then a recipe again an economic value. जिस रिसोर्स की हमें वैल्यू मिलना स्टार्ट हो जाती है इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी, दैट बिकम्स द इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू ऑफ द रिसोर्स. Now, the picture on the screen you're seeing is about the type of resources. Resources has been divided among natural and human. And again, natural is divided among renewable and non-renewable. And human is divided among structure and institutions and quantity. Students, the resources have been furtherly divided on the basis of an origin, renewability, on its development, distribution, and ownership in detail. Main three types of resources are natural resources, human-made, and human resource. The main among all is the human resource. Human beings are the most important resource. Every person is endowed with skills and knowledge which helps in contribute towards society in some way or the another. People need education and training to become useful human resource. Obviously, that's why you're taking education. You're gaining education because you want to become successful one day. Any country which wants to progress must have the ability and technology to convert natural endowments and natural resources into a useful resource. The next for this revision is an important topic, that is how to conserve the resources, means उसको संभाल कर कैसे रखना है. There is no limit to human needs. When we use a particular resource, it becomes our responsibility to conserve that resource. Conservation is the care and protection of these resources. Thus, using natural resource carefully without wasting them is called conservation of resources. That's why I've already told you in Zoom class also. See, water is a very, very important natural resource for us and we have to use it optimally. ध्यान से use करें. I've given you some examples also for that. Let us take the example of petroleum and coal. Petroleum and coal are also fossil fuels. They were formed from dead remains of animals and plants which have been buried under the earth for thousands of years. Coal is a very, very important fossil fuel. Thus, intense heat and pressure inside the earth change them into petroleum and coal. Human beings are using fossil fuels for an alarming rate. Excessively usage होता जा रहा है उसका. According to predictions by the scientists and researchers, fossil fuels would be exhausted completely in coming years. Think about the future after that. उसके बाद आप सोचिए कि उसका हमारा फ्यूचर कैसा हो जाएगा. तब हमें इन चीज़ों की अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं होंगी. ये बेसिक्स हैं हमारे. There would be no coal to power the factories. Imagine the difficulties which the future generation would have to face due to the man's careless use of the resources. The main topic connected with the conservation of resources is sustainable development. What is that? There are some of the principles related to sustainable development. मतलब क्या करना चाहिए जिससे हम कंजर्व कर सकें रिसोर्सेज को. There are three main points, that is respect and care for all forms of life available on earth, present on earth, and improve the quality of the human life, conserve the earth fertility and diversity. Now I'm going to discuss the very important topic as well, that is the 3 R's. reduce, reuse, and recycle. So, my dear students, reduce stands for we should reduce our use for certain things as much as possible. For example, if your school is nearby where you live, then you can go by walk. Why to waste the petrol for that, or why to use any vehicle for it? You can go by foot also. Reuse. Many old items can be reused by making them into a useful item. For example, old clothes can be used for making rugs and doormat. What is rugs? जो आप bathroom से if you come out of the bathroom you use the foot mats to clean your foot. That is called rugs. We can make shopping bags and basket from jute items and old newspapers. देन दे रिसाइकिल. हमने कैसे एक ओल्ड आइटम को थोड़ा सा लाइफ देकर पॉसिबली एक गुड यूजफुल आइटम बना दिया. दैट इज कॉल्ड रिसाइकिल. पेपर, ग्लास, आयरन एंड टिन कैन बी recycled a number of times. Old newspapers and other items should be given to the junk or scrap dealer. They in turn will sell them to the recycling industry. After recycling, many useful items are made from these discarded items. So, just to sum up the chapter, here is a picture on the screen showing about the type of resources: human, human-made, natural, and it should be used judiciously as well. And natural resources are depend upon the origin, development, renewability, and distribution. Origin can be based upon biotic and abiotic. Development can be on potential and actual. Renewability on renewable and non-renewable, and distribution to ubiquitous and localized. Ubiquitous means the thing which are available everywhere. Example, sunlight, right? So I have briefed you this chapter. As this is a revision session, I have opted for some important points to make this video. You can go through it. If there is any doubt, we'll definitely discuss in the Zoom class. Till then, happy learning.